Why did I stop making content? And what was I afraid to say out loud? I stopped making content for a while here because I have been a bit lost as to what to bring you. What is it that I can bring, that I can speak of authentically and real and be real, you know? And I was afraid that I'm going to have what was I afraid to say out loud? Be specific. I was afraid to say out loud that we have been lied to about about why we are sick. Why are we so sick? We're overweight, diabetes, dementia, heart disease, digestive issue, you name it, man. We've got freaking diseases. And I don't like saying we were lied to because it sounds so freaking conspiratorial. There's a hard word to say. Because I've grown up around people who speak so much conspiracy, and the vast majority of what they say is not true. Whether it's prophecy or government hoo-ha or rich people, whatever nonsense, it's just not true. So then when I say, oh, we've been lied to about health, yeah, I feel nervous about that. Because then I feel like I'm stepping right into the very thing that I reject. When did I first realize that sickness, obesity, and diabetes were being treated as normal? You know what? I realized that when I started seeing those YouTube videos that let me know that there was a major issue here. And I realized that they were treated as normal. Why that phrasing? Because at one time, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, osteoporosis, these things were not normal in the West, in North America. It was not normal. And now it's everyday occurrences. We think it's the diseases of old age, and we're a bit concerned that it's showing up in young people like children. But actually, I've been learning, no, it was never a common disease of the old. And it should never be a regular common disease of the young. And I learned that back in 2023 when I switched my diet and I decided to go carnivore and I lost 52 freaking pounds. Like, we don't have to be sick. What did I personally watch happen to myself or people I love that made me angry about health? One, my father. My father had 4 heart attacks. My mother is obese and now has diabetes. My stepfather is obese and headed towards diabetes. One of my best friends is now pre-diabetic, heading towards diabetes. And I disliked that. I disliked that so much, but I accepted it. Then I saw those videos, I saw all this content, and then I started doing study and research to find out this is not the way that it has to be. It's not inevitability. It's not defective DNA. We don't have to be sick. I keep saying that. Even my own. Like, I'm just looking back at the question, what did I personally watch happen myself? I was getting more and more fat, getting bigger and bigger. And there was no path that I could see that could easily fix that. Yeah, lazy man over here, go run into a gym 6 days a week and put in a pile of work on top of the 60 to 90 hours a week I was working already. It was unappealing. I wanted something that would just work. It wouldn't require more from me. And then I learned there really is that way. What lie about food or health did I believe? No, what lie about food or health do I believe people are still trapped in? I'll tell you right now. I think one of the biggest lies is that your health conditions that you're dealing with, obesity, heart disease, cancer, is just genetics. And that the best that you can hope for, the most that you can hope for, is that you would hopefully have the DNA that would enable you to not get sick like everybody else. That the best that you can hope for is just to have the right DNA. You know what? And I got to put a second one in here. And here's another lie that just drives me up the wall. That you have to spend huge amounts of money, staggering amounts of money, in order to keep healthy and prevent. Now, prevention is not a lie, but that it requires huge amounts of money? Nah, I don't think it does. I don't think it does. Maintaining low-level health, that takes money. Why do I believe deep down that people do not have to be fat, sick, or broken? This is because of the studies that I've done. Starting back in 2023, I think it was February. I started in February and right up until today. We are not broken as a species when it comes to our DNA. As Christians, yes, we have a sin problem. Absolutely. That's true. But we do not have a broken DNA problem. And you go back to when the Europeans were first coming in contact with the First Nations. There was not copious amounts of heart disease in North America among the First Nations. There wasn't osteoporosis. There wasn't obesity, liver disease. Freak, you name it, man. Alzheimer's, dementia among the First Nations. And the reason why I bring them up is that the First Nations were not eating copious amounts of fruits and vegetables. The majority of their diet was animal fat and animal protein, the majority of their diet. And they were tall, healthy, strong. And I've watched in my own life as I changed my diet. And I've watched those and seen those who changed their diets, and all of a sudden they're not fat. They don't have diabetes anymore. They don't have autoimmune diseases, their digestive issues that are so rampant in our culture today. They're gone. It's like, we do not have to be sick. You do not have to be sick. And I mean, there are some diseases that come from that we can't just cure, so to speak. But I'm noticing that when people adopt a proper human diet, the symptoms that they were dealing with the incurable disease diminish. That's incredible. And I'm thinking of infectious diseases, viruses and that kind of stuff. Actually, people with really great health, they are not nearly as susceptible to the infectious diseases. What finally convinced me that this wasn't inevitable, that there is another way? And what convinced me is watching, like myself, I lost 52 pounds, my digestion got better, my back pain went away. Other people, again, weight loss. There's this guy named Carrie, I'll just say Carrie from Homestead How. He had heart issues, fixed them. Whole kinds of medications on depression and anxiety. Doesn't have those anymore. His daughter had these skin conditions. She doesn't have those skin conditions anymore. Dr. Jordan Peterson's daughter with her autoimmune diseases, she is now living, I'll say living disease-free. If she can't deviate off of her diet, but as long as she stays on her diet, she doesn't suffer. And so what finally convinced me this isn't inevitable is watching everybody else. And I'm just making sure I'm still answering the correct question. I haven't jumped off of it. It's not inevitable. And if we change our diets, the vegetarians, as much as I disagree with vegetarians, they've got the right freaking idea. Get into eating healthy and your body will respond in a positive way. Stay eating unhealthy and your body will respond in a negative way. And that means you and I, we got control. We actually have control. And we can do this. We can do this. And it's so amazing, praise Jesus. Excuse me. Oh, yes. Because I haven't been recording in a while, and I got ChatGPT to help me with getting something put together here, and I actually use ChatGPT quite a bit for focus. And it says, what am I actually trying to do with this channel? If I'm to be completely honest, and I'll tell you what it is. One, I want to actually be a help. One of the things I've discovered with my previous employment, my previous work, is that I can teach. I really can teach, but where I really seem to, I don't know, find a groove and find a vein of strength, of ability is to encourage. I love watching people who are struggling, someone who needs to overcome the thing and become better and grow. And I get to help in that, and they grow and they become better, and all of a sudden they have victory. And I love that. It revs me up. And I do want to build a community and a business around that. I want to contribute positively to this world. I see so many things that are going on that are just really awful. You know what I'm saying? And one of the awful things is this crushing bad health. One of the reasons why I like Robert Kennedy Jr., because he wants to bring the West, he says America, and he is talking about America, but hey, Canada and other Western countries being brought back into a healthy place where we have healthy bodies, healthy minds. Yeah, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that because we need as many voices as possible to bring to bring the world, bring our culture, bring our country back to a good place, so that we can then grow again, get back to growing and becoming better. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not talking too weird. What do I refuse? What do I refuse to stay quiet about anymore? You know, I'm not a man who likes conflict. I shy away from it. I don't like it. I grew up as a child fearing conflict because that usually meant that I was going to get punished, that I was going to get disciplined, and that there'd be some kind of misery coming my way. So I shied away from it. But I've learned that they that wish to exercise power without morality must have the presence of those who will not speak up. There are a lot of people that are benefiting financially and politically from an unhealthy population or dependent. Healthy people don't need the help from others. Unhealthy people need the help from others. And look, if you break your leg, you have some kind of, health issue. It's not like you need to feel ashamed about that. It's just that what if you could prevent having that need in the first place? I don't want to stay quiet anymore because I don't want to see everybody that I care about be suffering and struggling when they don't need to be. We live in one of the wealthiest nations in the world, and I want to see the poor people, the poor nations also rise up and grow. And one of the ways is for them to be healthy. And knowing what makes a healthy body, how to get there, I think is absolutely vital. And so I refuse to stay quiet about the truth that you do have control over your health and you can be healthy, amen. And that you have say over that. And you can prevent sickness in your children, and you can prevent sickness in yourself, and you can reverse a tremendous amount of sickness that's already there. Not the least of which, and the most obvious, I guess, would be obesity. How many of us struggle with obesity and we feel we can never overcome it? We can. We can overcome it. Who is this message really for? The person I see struggling right now. And I think of one of my best friends, and he's pre-diabetic, right? And it's inevitable for him to be to have diabetes, and that the best he can hope for is to slow it down and manage it. No, it can be reversed. You don't have to be stuck on medication. You don't have to watch your body slowly fall apart and disintegrate. You don't have to watch that. You don't have to see yourself. Maybe you're 14 years old and you've been obese since you were like 9 or 7 or something like that. Maybe you've been obese for a long time, and you're thinking your future is just obesity and fighting your body. And maybe you've just given up, and man, you don't have to give up. You don't have to quit. And if you're 50, like my good buddy, he's like 50. What is he? 58, I think. My bro is a little older than me. And he's thinking he's going to be sick. He's just going to be sick, and there's nothing he can do about it. And it's just like, no, there is something you can do about it. I want you to know that you can get better, you can prevent sickness, and you do not have to be sick. What do I want someone to feel when they finish watching this? I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel hope, right? Just hope. I want you to feel that you can actually, I'm repeating myself, and I was trying to find another way to say it. You can be healthy. And if you're healthy, look, there's so much more you can do with your life. I've seen those videos of somebody, he's 64 years old and he's riding his bike, across the province or something like that, across the state, right? And why does that matter? Why is that such a big deal? Well, because, most 64-year-olds, they couldn't do that. But the reason why this man can do it is because he is so healthy. What if we all were? What if we were all healthy? What if we had a nation, a generation that was, by and large, primarily very healthy? Now, this would mean that there'd be some money that's going to get lost. I mean, there wouldn't be as much needs for pharmaceuticals. There wouldn't be as much need for hospitals. There wouldn't be as much need for doctors. That is true. And I wish no evil, I have no ill will towards, the doctors or people making medication to help people get healthy. It's just that it sucks to be in the need of such things. It just sucks. And I want to live, and I want you to live, and I want us to live well. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I thank you for watching. God bless you. God be with you. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.